Yo, what up, fam? It's your boy Walt back with a continuation of that encryption playbook. This time, I'm going to get into showing you guys how to send and receive encrypted emails. Again, this encryption game is not as difficult as a lot of people may make it seem. So I'm going to show you just how easy it is. Rock with me. So before we get into this, fam, as usual, I'm going to ask you again, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, and the notification button. Those things, they help out a lot. So, we on the come up. So I would be remiss if I didn't put the request out there. So please help a brother out. As with most complex technologies, encryption involves a process, and it's important that you know this. Throughout the process, there are certain activities and then there's certain outputs associated with those activities. So I'm about to put you onto that. First thing that you need to know is the thing that you're going to encrypt, that's considered a plain text message, right? And when you go about or when you take the action of encrypting a plain text message, you use a cipher to encrypt the plain text message. And the result of that encryption, we call that ciphertext, right? So when you decrypt ciphertext, which is what you have to do to be able to read it, you have to, decipher it. And the result of that decryption or that deciphering is the message, which is right back to what you started with, right? Anyway, I am not going to get into the details of the setup. If you have already seen the file encryption video, I'll refer you back to that. If you haven't, I'll refer you to that for the first time. Go check out that file encryption video. That's where I tell you all the tools that you need to get set up in order to encrypt things. I will say this, though, you definitely need, if you're on a Mac, the GPG suite. If you are on Windows, I believe they have a GPG for Win or something like that. There's a whole OpenPGP website that I shared on that video that lets you know what tools to use based on what platform you have. So anyway, go check those out. Now we're going to get into this demo. So now what we're going to do is demonstrate how to encrypt email. And I'm going to use a couple different email messaging tools and other tools just to show you how this works and to show you that it actually is working. So if I go so right now I'm in the mail application on my Mac and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new email message. Let me bring this over here and I'm actually going to send it to myself at Big Walt, right? And I'm going to say encrypted mail test. That's the subject. And this is a test. This is only a test. And encrypted test. Right? Ciao. All right, cool. So that's just me typing a simple message. And what you'll notice over here is that there's this little thing with the check mark. This is actually a digital signature. This is how I can sign a message. And when somebody receives a signed message, it adds a bit of non-repudiation, meaning only the person with the private key, my private key, could have signed this message. You can turn that on and off. I'm going to leave it on. In addition, there's this lock right here. This is how to actually encrypt the message. So if I click the lock, when it sends, it's actually going to use my private key because I'm sending it to me to encrypt the message. If I were doing this, normally I wouldn't be sending an email to myself. Normally what I'd be doing is sending it to a colleague or someone else. I would go out to a key server. I would get their public key. I would encrypt it with their public key. And then when they get the message, they can decrypt it with their private key. Prying eyes would not be able to see the message. So anyway, getting back to it. So if I click the send button, that's done, the message is being sent, and you can see that I received the message. Now, if I look at the message in here, because GPG Tools is integrated with my mail application, then, really doesn't look like much. You just see the plain text message. So it's like, okay, how does that prove anything? Now you see that the lock is here that shows that it's encrypted, and this, digital signature sort of icon is there, which means it's signed. But if you don't really understand the technology behind it, then you just have to trust it. But I'm going to show you by stepping outside of the mail app that it really does work. So if I look in Outlook, Outlook does not have GPG Tools integrated with it. So if I click on this mail message, you'll see that it basically, there's no preview available because everything's encrypted. So this is the encrypted message here, and this is that's the metadata envelope or whatever. So let me go ahead and download this. Let me download it, and I'm going to choose to download it to this particular folder that I've used before for cryptography demonstrations. Actually, wrong file. I want to download this one, right? And I'll just save it with the same default file name. All right, so that file is downloaded and saved. So now what I'll do is I'll switch over to my Finder, just to make it easy. And you'll see, some files from a previous demo. And then you see this encrypted.asc file. And so that file is what I just downloaded from Outlook, which is the encrypted message. Now, if I open this up, let me just use the basic text editor to open it up, and scroll down, text edit, right? So open it up with a text editor and move that over here. Then you'll basically see that it's a PGP message and it is encrypted. And so for all intents and purposes, this is gobbledygook. Nobody without the private key associated with the public key that was used to encrypt this message could read this message. Thus, it's encrypted. All right, so let me go ahead and close that up. So now, if I just gonna go the easy route and use the integrated GPG suite to decrypt this file, right? So if I click decrypt, it decrypted it. It already has my passphrase, in memory. So it decrypted it. You see that now there's this file called encrypted that does not have the .asc extension to it. I'm also going to open that up with the text editor, and let's do this. Let's move this back over here. Now you can see that this is a test. This is only a test, an encrypted test, ciao. So it decrypted this message, and you can see a bunch of metadata in the message, but you also see the Pgp signature, and this is what the little check mark means. And somebody can use this signature to validate the authenticity of this message that it was sent by me. If you encrypt a message, you typically don't need a signature on top of that. It's an extra precaution. If a message itself is not like super secret, you can send it along with the signature, and people can verify that it actually came from you and that like somebody didn't spoof your email address and that sort of thing. So that's it. That's basically how you send encrypted emails. And decrypt them on the other side. You can do it manually, like I just said. If you don't have an email tool that's got integrated decryption, you can basically download the encrypted attachment, which is how it will come, and then decrypt it on the command line, or using the integrated tools. If you're using something like the Mail app that comes with macOS, that has the integrated GPG suite, then it does it all for you. You don't even have to take any extra steps to decrypt messages that were sent to you, having been encrypted with your public key. So that's that. Now see, that wasn't difficult at all. Matter of fact, it's kind of easy. Anyway, go forth and hide stuff. Holla.